Hey everybody, this is Jonathan Kirching with the Pittsburgh Technology Council, Tech Vibe Radio, and of course, One Mic Stand. It's our second week of doing these conversations with our member companies here at the Pittsburgh Technology Council, and the response has been really great. Just posting these things up on LinkedIn and just getting it out through our social channels. We have people reaching out to me saying, hey, I got a story to tell too. And I just love hearing from our members and hearing from the community that they're surviving this pandemic, they're getting through it, and they're going to come out of it stronger. And on top of that, they have some great advice and some tips and techniques and just general knowledge that's going to help you get through this pandemic as well too, hopefully much stronger. And one person who I'm really excited to have is Francois Gau here from Levy. Francois, it's always great to talk with you. You're one of my favorite people. You always have some great information. You're a very smart dude, and I'm so glad we're talking to you today.
Thank you, Jonathan. It's been a little while, and thanks to the PTC and your sponsors to allowing this to happen. Thanks to be here today.
Great. So first off, I always want to know from how are you doing? How are you holding up? What's going on with Francois?
Just doing great. Like you can see, I'm in my basement here
Yes.
at my house. It used to be my daughter's secondary bedroom when she was in college. Transformed it into my office here at the house. Very quiet. So it's good. I had it before the pandemic arrived, so I just stayed at least 1 day a week at the house.
Okay.
So it was good to have a place where I can think. Doing good. Family's okay. Even in France. So my mom and dad still living over there.
Okay.
As you might hear, the news were not very great over there. So everybody's fine. Thank you for asking.
Good. No, absolutely.
We're doing good. So moving on.
Very much so. And so first off, I want our listeners just give us the quick pitch about what Levy's all about. Because you've definitely, when you stepped in, moved in, and kind of took over Levy, you definitely gave it some sharper edges and doing a lot more. So what's up with Levy these days?
First off, I kind of bought the place about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
So time flies.
Kind of bought the place.
The story is when I left the big company out there, I said I wanted to kind of be on my own, and I started a consulting company called Velocity Up, still running. And the idea was threefold. I can help with strategic advice. I can help with marketing and sales training, and I needed a marketing partner. So I reached out to Levy. That was my supplier when I was at my previous job,
right?
And had lunch and say, hey, I'd like to have a partner. That's like a great idea. What do you do when you want to succeed? And then that happened, and then I bought the company about 1.5 years ago. It was primarily a marketing agency, right? We did 70% advertisement for industrial companies, and one of my vision was from the get-go to make it a strategic marketing entity. And we're currently doing quite the opposite. Advertising is less of a focus of ours, rather than getting everybody onto the bandwagon of inbound digital, lots of different things happening. So I completely restructured the company about 1 year ago.
Yeah. That's awesome. So how's the company doing right now through all this? Obviously everyone's working remote. How are you keeping everybody rowing in the same direction despite all the craziness going on out there?
I think it was part of our business plan. What we had in mind was to be independent of a network, of a physical place, so we could take our laptops, bring a team of folks working at customers in a war room somewhere. So a long time ago, about 1 year ago, we made the decision to be completely independent of physical walls.
Okay. So
we
you're
still
good
have
then.
our walls.
You got to jump start on this.
Yeah, it was kind of somewhat, not planned, but it worked out great because with a few tweaks there and there. Some people didn't have laptops, so we had to kind of allow them to take their computers back home, because what we do sometimes requires some special computing techniques. So
I was one of those. I have my giant iMac that I take this sucker home.
So that's what we did about 1 year ago. And then everybody's working from home. What's a little more complicated is when we have a new customer onboarding or so forth, we cannot do the face-to-face work that's required. So we had to kind of gradually get ourselves into using the likes of Zooms and go to meetings and Uber conference and whatnot. So
Very much so.
overall, we do 2 huddles a week.
Okay.
I got this from Simon Sinek. Actually, he's one of my favorite person out there that does a lot of TED Talks.
Okay.
And he sent us a note and say, you guys should talk about, in these times, it's time to huddle. Not talk about work, but just talk about things and how do you feel and so forth. So we do that twice a week now with our team. There is no work talking about. We just talk about ourselves. And
yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. That's great advice.
Just to keep the cohesion going. Because as humans, we need those kinds of interactions. And
we're all a little freaked out right now. So it's good to be able to see the people that you know and be able to lean on them a little bit, right?
On the business side, we're doing okay. I would say this is not fantastic, but at least compared to some others.
Exactly.
We're doing relatively well.
Good.
We saw a bit of a drop on our quote unquote corporate customers.
Yeah.
And not a rule, but many of them. And then we're seeing a pickup in the small to medium sized enterprises, the entrepreneurs, the go-getters. About 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 now. Wow, time flies. I started reaching everyone, and I think I posted on LinkedIn too. This idea of marketing must go on. Okay.
Yes.
Specifically now.
You got a hashtag for that too.
I did.
Yes, I like that hashtag. It must go on, right?
Yeah, marketing must go on. I'm like this kind of like, drum leader here. The whole idea is actually, it stemmed out of one of our staff meeting, one of our huddles. And somebody said, remember during the Grand Recession, there was this company making salt that kept advertising about what they do well and so forth, while everybody else was keeping them out of advertising and laying off people and so forth. That company never laid off people, never stopped down. And now if you think about salt, who do you think about?
Exactly.
Morton. Yep. Morton Salt.
Right.
So the whole idea was marketing must go on. It's this idea that in downturns like now, in crisis, in pandemic, whatever you want to call this period of time, what's important is the people that keep at it will have a better brand position when they get out of it. And another remarkable thing, we see pretty much all of our clients continue to work with us, and some new customers that we've added since the beginning of this, which is even more remarkable. Every one of them that we onboard on this, the open rate is higher, the time to read is higher, and the click-through rate is higher.
I've been noticing the same thing through our communications. It's like, wow, people are definitely paying more attention right now.
Yeah, because if you're at home, well, you have more time. First off, I don't need to take 2 hours driving to go to work and back. Right?
That's saving me a lot of time. That's
saving time. And my brain is somewhat more receptive to messages.
Yeah, you want to start hearing what else is going on out there and get some ideas. Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of the news, to be honest with you.
Me too.
it's I need something else. I need some reading. I need some challenge. I need some brain, activities out there. So yeah, that's what we've been doing for the past 3 weeks.
Great.
Okay.
Cool. So let's talk about, strategic marketing. That's a really big term. We could probably talk hours on strategic marketing. What I'm really interested in is like really how, let's get some ideas, some concepts as to what that really means, and then really making something actionable out of it. So, it's like, I might be losing money in some customers right now. How can I still invest in that, whether it's dollars or resources, like staff time or whatever that is, in order to make sure that I'm keeping my brand up. So when we come out of this thing, you're strong as far as that is. Because I think that's the most important thing right now is that people, you can't axe the marketing quite yet. You said, the marketing must go on, right?
That's exactly right. Marketing must go on. So let's define strategic marketing to some degree.
Okay.
In starting with the very frame that, that's right, marketing's on. So fund your spend around 360, everybody will receive the same message.
Okay.
The chances of it being recognized and it being associated with your brand is It's being associated called outbound, right? Where you put a print magazine, you're having a thing on the road, a sign on the road, and you're hoping people to come to you. What we
Right.
do is somewhat the opposite. This is a technique that was invented a long time ago. It's called inbound marketing.
Yep.
We're educating.
Mm-hmm.
We're becoming a thought leader into something, whatever it is your brand is,
Exactly.
whatever it is
Exactly.
your product does, whatever it is your people are super smart about. We're educating, becoming a thought leader into something, whatever it is. Strategic marketing is to go figure out where these people are. First off, you got to know yourself, right?
Exactly. First
We
step,
start
what
with,
exactly are you? Right. Gotcha.
you start with a section that we call market mapping because it's the name we gave it. And we try to understand what makes you different. Why
Okay.
you?
Right.
And once we got the why, then we can get to the what. And then this is where we try and find out where these people are, who they are, how they react to things, and how to reach out to them. And that's the second and third phase. Is goal setting, it's market planning, it's content generation. And then the third step is we automate all that because to reach those people, it's not as easy as it used to be.
No, it's there's so much out there now that to get someone's
That's
attention
right.
is really difficult.
In technology or industrial in particular, make it B2B just to simplify it.
Yeah.
You need to reach the specifier, which is usually a technically minded person. You need
Mm-hmm.
to reach the buyer, which may or may not know what you're talking about. And you need to reach the leader of the program, the project, the factory, whatever it is, the money person. And we have to communicate to all three people at the same time.
Right.
So this thought leadership has to be declined into what we call personas. Those personas have to be identified, reached out, the material needs to be adapted. And the only way we can do this is through automation. And that's where technology joins back to marketing.
Exactly. That's why I think it's so cool when you get the tech joining in with this to automate that and increase your
Right,
chances and make it more
right,
specific and targeted. That's just so cool.
exactly. And then I wouldn't say a fraction of the cost you used to spend in outbound, but in relevance to the spend to results, it's 9 times more effective.
That makes
So
sense.
for $1 spent, you get 10 times the net impact. So
Right.
this is what I embarked into. I mean, our motto at Levy is make your marketing count, right? That's where I started with. I
Exactly.
said I was where I was before into all my employment and some of the gigs I've been into. Um, it's very difficult to see what this activity results into, right? The KPI associated with,
Yeah,
some
that's
marketing
always been
activity.
super tough. Exactly.
So our vision is to make your marketing count, is to make sure that every month we come down and we sit down and we say, we pressed this button and he did this. And as a result, you had that.
Exactly. You can make a direct
And
correlation and you can see what you got back.
so from your question, which is
Mhm.
strategic marketing, what is it? Well, you can't just talk to everybody. You have to talk to you, right? Your customers, to your narrow focus, but you have to know who it is. So then the word strategic marketing was what I used because that makes more sense. You want to be very strategic about what you do, not
So,
spend your dollars everywhere.
Francois, what are your thoughts on? I know we're all kind of grappling with this because we need to sell stuff to people. We need to reach out, but we're afraid to reach out right now because everyone's in this crazy position, and so we don't know when's the right time to start saying, "Hey, what's your advice on being able to keep reaching out and developing relationships or finishing off relationships that you were in the middle of doing before this whole pandemic broke out?"
I think we have to reset the clock a little bit,
Okay,
right? We have to reset the clock. This is the new normal. But it started before. I mean, I've been watching it for many years now
of
into the
course.
business. We're going to trade convention, a meeting, some form of face-to-face event is going to be reduced significantly. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not thinking going to my next concert quite yet.
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
Unless it was the
So,
Stones, of course. I maybe would risk it, but I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'll go with you on that one.
Okay.
Fair. No, but I mean, if you think about reaching out to people, first off, when I teach and I work with my client, when I teach some of the classes, and I work with my client, I say the goal for every salesperson is to make one new connection per day.
Very good.
That's it.
Yeah.
One new. So to do that, you go on LinkedIn, you go on, find them where they are.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. And right now, where they are is in front of their computer and looking at their cell phone and finding out what's going on in the world. So time is now. Time is now. You just don't want to be salesy.
Exactly. See, that's the hard part, right?
We can't be too salesy. So there's a lot of techniques you can employ to kind of warm your customers for the time that is right to come and do a physical demo. If your product has to have a physical demo, obviously.
Yeah. Can I come over and show you my new product? No.
So virtual demos are. There's a couple of tech companies in town that are doing some Oculus 3D rendering.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's time to invest in this thing. This is not as expensive as you might think, right? So try to be virtual, try to be authentic, right? Your message has to not be a scripted one. Try to be empathetic to the person in front of you. Try to know that person a little more than usual, right? And try again. But cold calling's difficult, right? Yeah. So we need to warm the relationship up with the ways that are affordable to us right now. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever your sales channel is to those people, right now is the time.
And that's why I think it's so important to keep the marketing up right now, just to provide thought leadership content, provide insights that are across the channel. So the people you're working with are seeing that you're still out there, but you're not necessarily directly talking to them, but they know that you're still in business. That's right. And that you're still doing what you got to do. But, so it kind of, maybe it's that first stage of being able to reach back out to some customers or to potential customers that you were, that were on your radar before the whole carpet was dragged out from underneath us on all this. So
yeah, that's pretty much it. Insight. That's pretty much it. One new connection a day.
Yeah.
If you think about it, that's close 200 and change per year, working days. I don't have to be a statistician to tell you that I'm going to get at least 2 or 3 new customers out of it.
You would hope so in those numbers.
So it's a habit, it's a technique. It's not rocket science. Just go find somebody in your network that knows somebody that knows somebody, get introduced and try to get some mileage out of it. So that's pretty much the counsel I got for everyone right now is focus on what you can control.
Dig it.
There's a lot of things out there and I cannot influence. Do the right things in terms of, social separation and stay at home and all the sort of things that we have been instructed to do. And then keep at it.
Keep at it. Good advice, Francois.
Make your,
parting shots. How can we get more involved with the hashtag marketing must go on campaign? How can we get this to swell more and get more people into it?
Well, just push it. Share it.
That sounds good.
I know you did that.
Yes.
So that's good. Thank you for that. But everybody out there that listens, just go on my LinkedIn profile. You'll find me somewhere out there. And then look for the post I posted. And I'm doing about 1 or twice a week.
Cool.
So follow me, contact me we can chat. I mean, this is the whole.
It's the time to do it. Absolutely. I really encourage people if they're out there and they want to learn more, to reach out to Francois. Like I said when we started this thing off, you're one of the smartest dudes I know, and what's up when it comes to all things marketing. And like I said, we're in this time right now where it's like I'm sure you'll give someone 15 minutes of your time just to start thinking about stuff. That's for sure. So.
Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate it.
But you're the best. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad Levy's doing well. Continued health, and let's get through this thing together, man. It's going to be good.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, everybody.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.